welcome to the teaching room for what is hopefully the last of our lockdown lesson videos. We'll give you more lesson videos in the future, but hopefully this is the last of the lockdown version, and we have some hope that we'll be back to golf here next week sometime. So, and that leads me into today's video and lesson. Most of us haven't played golf at all for 3 months, and some of us haven't even swung a club. Some of you have got nets in the backyard, some of you have been having a swing and sort of getting back into it a little bit in anticipation of golf coming back. But I think a lot of people haven't even swung the club at all in 3 months. So, and that can be a bit problematic coming back to golf next week, given that the golf swing is quite a dynamic motion. And I would advise that if you can, just get out in your backyard with a golf club and just do 20 or 30 swings a day. Just ease into it because you haven't done it for a while, and just get those golf muscles moving again. And today's lesson or tip is about one particular body part that can be problematic when it gets a little bit sort of I guess stiff, and the range of motion becomes, you know, not quite what we would like it to be. And that is to do with the rotation of the neck. Now, as most of you will be aware, including myself, you know, as we get older, this movement of rotating the neck can get problematic as we get older. And sometimes you can make the most innocuous little movement with your neck, and next thing the thing seizes up and you're off to see the physio. And that's happened to me a few times. I've had to go down and visit Graham Reed up here in Sorrento. And Graham sort of gets me going again, but sometimes it's like 24 hours before it sort of frees up. And one of the things that we can do, and this comes to me from Graham, I hope Graham doesn't mind me passing on this exercise, I don't think he would mind, but it's a very simple exercise, and it's one that he always says to me, you know, Mark, you've got to do this exercise and do it regularly, and you'll be much better for it, and you'll be less likely of having the same seizing up happening again. So, the reason we need to do it is because in the golf swing, as we turn, as I've discussed before, as we turn, we have to keep our eyes on the ball. Now, most times when we turn to look at something or look around, we will keep our head 90 degrees or square with our shoulders. So if I turn around to look at someone, I'll sort of turn around like that. But obviously in the golf swing, if I do that, I'll lose sight of the ball. So we can't do that. In the golf swing, I need to do that same turning motion, but I need to keep my head facing here. So now I've got to be able to do this instead of that. Now, depending on how good you are at rotating your neck, that will determine how good you are at turning your shoulders, or how far you can turn your shoulders in the backswing, which obviously then means we can hit the ball further. Now, what happens is if my range of motion is not very good, particularly on the backswing, if I'm not good at moving my head to the left, what's going to happen is that as I go back, as I start to get my shoulders past here, my head will start to move around here. Now, conversely, if I'm good with my range of motion with my neck, now I can actually have my shoulders here, and I can bring my head right around back to here. And now I can turn my shoulders like 100 degrees, but I can still see the golf ball. And what will happen is if you start to turn and then your head starts to move around, what's going to happen is your brain will say, okay, we're not going to turn anymore, because if we do, I'm going to lose sight of the ball. Because your brain knows that it has to keep sight of the ball. And if you do anything in your swing that causes you to lose sight of the ball, it will intervene. And in this case, you start to turn and you get to about here and you can't keep that head looking at the ball, and your brain knows that head's going to move around, it will stop turning. So you'll only get to about maybe there. Alright, so if we do this exercise and we have better range of motion, now I'll be able to freely turn my shoulders, but keep my head pretty much fixed in this position, and it will look something like this. So that's an exercise you can do just there, but the main exercise I want you to do, the one that comes from Graham, a very simple one. All we do is, every day, now just take it gently to start off because you're not sure how far you can get when you start off, but we just stand here and all we do is we just rotate your head to the right, go as far as you can go without sort of, just test it first to see how far you can get, take it gently, round to there, and then we just go around to the left. And we just do 10 of those, and one being from here to there. That's 1, 2, 3, and so on through to 10. And if you do that every day, it'll just improve that range of motion. So when you come back to golf, you'll be less likely to, maybe, seize up your neck, and you'll be more likely to get a nice full rotation of the body. So try that exercise out over the next few days. I highly recommend that you do some of those before we come back next week. And as I said, get out in the backyard, just do some practice swings, just loosen up, and then next week, fingers crossed, you'll be ready to go. I look forward to seeing you all, hopefully next week. Thanks for watching.